I hope that you still have some goals that you can accomplish this year. They're still in the back of your mind. Last week we did talk about looking through the calendar, looking at our photos to see how we were feeling during certain times of the year, what we really can get credit for based on all of those things that we captured throughout 2025. We talked about written goals, accountability partners, and all these things that help make us to succeed. So back with us again, professional speaker and executive coach Snowden McFall, owner of Fired Up Professional Speaking and Coaching. So it's great to have you back, and we're going to take a deeper look into our lives and really think about some things that might be a little hard, might be a little fun, but keeping it real so that we can reach those goals.
Well, you know, awareness is the key to everything, right? You need to know where you are so you can know where you want to go.
Right. Yeah. And you asked me if I did any of the things.
That we talked about.
I did. I looked back at some of my pictures, and so I turned 50 this year, which is crazy. I know you're all like, what?
I know you look 40.
I appreciate that. but I everybody throws a big party and they do all this stuff, and I don't think I want that. But I think I do want to incorporate like adventure and joy and like community service and like different things into every month, and then invite those people to be a part of that so that I can accomplish some of those small goals every month.
I love that.
Yeah, we'll see how I do. Check back in with me in 6 months.
Experiences are the thing to spend money on.
Right,
if you're going to do that instead of material things, experiences are meaningful.
Yeah, but that made me think of it differently, as opposed to just a party, but doing something that chips away at those desires monthly. So
I love it.
All right, so this time we're going to talk about, is it SWOT, right?
SWOT, and we're going to talk, first we're going to start with your life chart. Okay, and I know we've got an image of that.
Yeah.
We didn't get to look at this last week. The life chart is where you look at every aspect of your life. And you look at family, finances, all the different aspects, and you see where you might rate on from 1 to 10. And anything less than a 7 you want to turn into a goal.
I see. Okay, so if you're weak in some areas.
That's right.
And then I guess you have to also say, what do you value?
Right, well, it's part of that. That is part of it. You know what is important to you in terms of that. So you might want to spend more time with your kids. I know I'm working on my fitness. I've been great. I've been working out every day. I've been working out every day. So yeah, we'll see how long it stays.
I know, but that's,
but I've got to have it. I have an accountability partner, and I've written him down. So that's what makes it work. 95%.
2 weeks in, so that's
right.
good,
Yeah, that's been good.
Okay,
That's been
so
good.
I love that. So just rating that, and if anything below a 7, maybe make it part of your goals.
Right, and so now we're going to do the SWOT analysis, and as you said, it's usually used in business.
Yeah.
And you look at strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. But I've kind of done a flip on it for us personally because it's really helpful to know what's going on in your life. So let's start with strengths.
Okay, so am I doing this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's take a look. I mean, when you look at your strengths, when you look at your life, what are you especially good at? What do people know you for?
Right.
What do people praise you for? Sometimes people praise you for things you didn't even know are your strengths.
But to keep in mind, because people sometimes see you differently than you see yourself.
That's right.
So, I mean, I know that, and also I feel like I've grown a lot in strengths and speaking. And
you have. You're amazing.
Oh, and I love it. It makes me so happy.
Yes.
So I love, I think we talked before of aligning those things that we love and turning them into like superpowers, and then those are your strengths. So, okay, so we're going to, and what are you strong in?
Well, I hope I'm strong as a speaker. I've been doing it for 20 years, 25 years.
I give you a check on that.
Professional speaker and an executive coach. I think I'm a good coach. And one of the things people always tell me is that I'm a great listener.
Yeah, which is an amazing quality because not everybody's good at that.
Right.
Most of us wait for you to stop talking so we can talk. So that's a good strength. All right, so our SWOT, so our strengths, we're going to list those out.
Right, you're going to write this down. You want to have a piece of paper and pen. It's better to do it there than on a computer because your brain remembers it better. So you write your strengths down. Okay, then we go to weaknesses. Okay, these are areas for improvement, not things to beat ourselves up with because we're so hard on ourselves.
Yep.
But where can you get better emotionally, mentally, physically? How's your attitude?
Yeah, I think that's important.
How's your patience? Do you get, I'm trying to be a kinder driver. So, sometimes it's really frustrating when I try and get out of my neighborhood and there's like 8 cars
Right,
and
you're
nobody's willing to
frustrated,
turn
right.
left. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, just send them good thoughts, listen to music, do something better. So how can we get better?
And sometimes that's a hard. When I was thinking about all this, sometimes that's hard to admit
Yes.
that you're weak in something, because you're like, oh, I'm great at this, I'm great at that, and not to beat yourself up. But I know for me, one of my weaknesses is I'm not as organized as I want to be.
Okay.
And I feel like that gets in the way of so many things. And as more and more is being piled onto me, I'm realizing if you just had a bit more organization, this would be so much easier for you.
So that would lead to action for you. That's what the whole purpose of this is. It leads to action. You might want to consider hiring a professional organizer to just come in for a couple hours and help you with your life. Could make a big difference.
Yeah. So and maybe even you ask someone what your strengths are, but ask them what your weaknesses are too.
Yes.
Go to a close friend, because sometimes again they see
They
things
will
that you don't.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Make sure it's a good friend, and don't be mad at them. Once
Right,
they,
not
you're like,
someone
"I
who's
didn't know
jealous
that."
of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now we look at opportunities.
Okay. Yeah, this is the fun part.
Yes, it is. These are all the new exciting things that could happen this year. And this year is filled with opportunities. So there might be a side hustle that you want to do. There might be a new course you want to take, a new skill set. A lot of people are taking courses in AI these days.
Yeah.
And so there might be something you wanted to develop in yourself. Maybe you want to get stronger in some particular sport, a new relationship. Some people are going through divorces, or they want to get married. There's lots of opportunities out there.
Yeah.
So you make a plan for it. It doesn't happen without taking action, folks. You got to take action.
Yeah, and even looking at things in your neighborhood or with your friendships.
Oh, yes.
Even developing, that could be one. Like developing
Absolutely.
a deeper relationship with people who are aligned with you, or people that
That's
you know.
right.
Even someone maybe you want to get to their level, and you're like,
That's
I'm gonna
right.
really network, and there will be an opportunity from that. So
And ask them to go to lunch.
Yeah.
And most people are afraid to do that. Just ask them to go to lunch. Say, may I buy you lunch?
Yeah.
You'd be amazed. People will be thrilled.
can I buy you lunch? Yes. Did you say buy me lunch? That's funny. All right, so then this may be tough, the threats,
Yeah,
the things that could
yes.
potentially get in the way of you reaching those goals.
That's right.
How do you determine what that is?
You don't know for sure,
Yeah.
but you look in the past year, there's been a lot of stuff, right? We didn't know that we'd have a government shutdown. That's a threat, and that's still a threat that can happen this year. Hurricanes are things we're used to in Florida. We're used to those, and we have a preparedness plan for hurricanes. So the whole idea is kind of have a preparedness plan for this. There might be health issues. One of my clients is going through a situation where both her children and her husband have some major health issues.
Right.
That's going to impact her business
No
and her
doubt.
ability to get things done. So you have to plan for that and be able to have people who can pick up the slack for you at work. And you just make a plan and you do the best you can to have some kind of preparedness. If you've got older parents, they might get ill. We went through that ourselves this year. And so what are your contingency plans? Just set aside both some time, some money, and some thought about, okay, how can I handle an unexpected emergency?
And I can see how a business can do that very easily. You know,
Right.
they can project dollars based on
Right.
past years. And
That's
maybe
right.
that's the thing. You look back at, okay, this time of year, I get a little depressed because
Right.
it's not, the sun isn't shining. So
That's
I know
right.
that's kind of a threat to me reaching those goals. And I'll be much better once the spring pops. And then I may do a little bit more then because I felt, or do something differently in the first part of the year because you know that you may feel that way.
Right. I mean, I had a client yesterday who said, January's always a little slow starting up, and then we've got all these projects. And so you know that about yourself, and you know that you tell your team that, hey, this is what always happens. We'll be back in the swing of things, and you do things to get motivated and inspired.
Yeah, you know, something else I noticed is with AI, we're doing so much more
Yes.
because we can do it faster and we have a little bit of support. So when those threats come, it's hard to work them in.
Oh,
I've been
yeah.
talking to a lot of people and they're like, I didn't realize that was going to happen. That threw me off completely.
Yes.
Because you're already packed so tight.
That's right.
So give yourself a little bit of
But
space
space and
for
time.
those threats that
That's
come
right.
in. Yeah, that's a lot going on.
And so I have something for our viewers.
good, good,
I
good.
have something kind of fun. I've worked with several of my clients on identifying their personal SWOT analysis. And so I'm going to do a drawing.
Okay.
Because you have so many wonderful viewers here on your
Yay.
live stream.
Oh, yay,
saying,
okay, yes.
So the live stream is that if you connect at firedupnow.com. If you send me an email at connect@firedupnow.com,
Okay.
then you'll be entered in a drawing, and I will give a free coaching session to whoever I pull
Ooh,
out.
okay.
That's worth $1,000.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to it.
Worth $1,000, folks. Okay, so connect at Fired up. Put it up one more time for us. Make sure people grab that. I think that it's nice to have somebody walk you through these things and ask the right questions that'll help you reach, because we can do the surface, but to have somebody help is really.
Well, and cheer you on, because we all do so much. You do such a great job in so many aspects of our lives. We need to give ourselves credit. We're hard on ourselves. So cheer you on for the new year.
Yeah. All right, Snowden, thank you. I appreciate it. How fun for us to have that opportunity. I appreciate you coming in. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
So Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day is on Monday. There's a lot going on this weekend, so many things in different counties, but we are going to look at service. That's what he called on us all to do. So this MLK Day, hundreds across Northeast Florida are coming together to lift up families, strengthen neighborhoods, and turn service into action. How you can get involved, coming up after the break.